You're listening to the RMTV podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the RMTV podcast, episode 51. We've been away.
You've been away. We haven't been.
Disappeared with the other mic, but we're back on deck, boys. How have we been?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Yourself?
Good. Slowly recovering in my so-called detox period from the States.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
Bit of a depression period.
I think that's a thing. I was talking to a mate at work, and I was like 2 days back at work. I'm like, I think there's like this post-holiday depression. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's like that first week back at work. It's just...
Yeah, it's like post-nut clarity, eh?
Yeah, exactly. But, it was good, mate. Obviously started with the World Cup. The mighty Socceroos. They scored no goals, nor did Paraguay. So, it's hard enough watching soccer as it is, but to watch a game with no goals, it's the ultimate blue ball.
I think that could be the closest thing that you would experience to being a Parramatta fan.
Yeah, look, look at the colours. We're pretty much on par. Sprinkle a little bit of blue in it, and yeah.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. I was in Brisbane while that game was going on. I was sitting at a pub. I was watching it, and I was about to blow my guns out, blow my fucking brains out. I was done, eh?
But dude, it was great. Landed in LA, hired our little Jeep, drove up to San Fran, and I didn't realise that Santa Clara, where the 49ers ground is, it's like an hour and a half out of San Fran. So we stayed in San Fran. Friday Arvo traffic, you beauty. And I thought, well, we could drop it off here. I caught up Hertz, and I've gone, you know what? We'll actually drop it near the stadium. Saves us a $200 Uber, right? Drove there, hour and a half. Got there about 6:15, kickoff was 7. It was like a journey. It was like bloody, what's that movie? Planes,
Trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. And then, I treated ourselves to 2 beers for $52 a pop, and we sat down and watched the soccer.
You survived the American experience, and we know it's a very volatile time in the United States of L. So you got through the airport. You weren't bounced at the airport by ICE or DHS.
No, mate. Look, no. I got through there. I went up with Trent, and he was very strict. He's like, no, you two family. Like, no, we're just mates. No, you go over there. He's like, why are you here? I'm like, World Cup, like everybody else.
We're wearing
right?
green and gold. What the fuck do you think we're here for?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm Australian. What the fuck do you think I'm doing here?
Yeah.
It's not to see Trump.
Yeah, and I got through, but I had to give him the address to the hotel, where we're going, blah, blah, blah. And then Trent's on the other hand going, asked, where's your address? And he's like, well, you just told me to go over here. My mate's got all the info. He just signed him off straight through. Welcome to the United States of America, baby.
So basically, out of you and Trent going over there, you were the wife because you had all the addresses. Is that right?
Mate, I did all the bookings, all the addresses. I had all the those stupid security deposits. It's like, all right, you've just paid this, but now we'll just need $200. We'll hold it for maybe 10 to 15 years. Like, I'm still waiting.
I was going to say, how many are you still waiting on?
Oh, it's probably at that stage, I'm going to have to email them back.
Oh, jeez.
But, no, and then, New York. New York was good. I'm a big Yankees guy now. Jordy.
Big Yankees.
Big Yankees guy.
Yeah.
You're a big Yankees fan.
How does it feel to know that you're like literally the American equivalent of a South Sydney Scum fan? I just need to know, how does that make you feel? You are the equivalent of a South Sydney fan right now.
Look, I'm lost for words, mate. They could put me in that, bracket.
Mate, you put yourself in there. The Yankees are the South Sydney of MLB.
You are right. I think Yankees are going through a very shit period. So, has that correlation with Souths?
Been shit since 2009, but yeah.
Yeah. And the baseball was all right. Obviously, took the mic and were dribbling around. And I just sat there and just took in the atmosphere. And
had a little. What was the atmosphere like?
Look, it was good. It had that really baseball feel, like the music. Halfway through the innings, everyone started singing, "I'm proud to be an American." Like, it was all of that. The anthems.
They do love that in New York, yeah.
Because, to me, whenever I see a baseball game, it looks like no one's actually paying attention to what's going on. Everyone's doing their own thing in the stand. Like,
sometimes you do. Like, it's
a bit like cricket. Yeah.
It's probably a bit different now because the games are a bit shorter. But back when the games would go like 3.5 hours, sometimes you just need to. That's why they invented the 999 challenge, which I'm disappointed in you for not doing. 9 beers, 9 hot dogs in 9 innings. I wanted you to do it once, and you couldn't even do it for me, man.
Like, it goes for a while, doesn't it? So it's achievable, really.
I had the 9 beers.
Well, it is. Like, now the games are a bit shorter. They're averaging at like 2.5. So that is a lot of an ask. But, a real Australian be able to power through and get it done.
Yeah, look, 9 beers, it was probably like times 2, probably about 18 of the tall boys. But The hot dogs, it's just a hot dog, right? Hot dog with a hot
Yeah,
dog.
but like that's the American feel, like a hot dog at the baseball. Like
It was,
do it.
yeah, I felt like I try to tick off every, I said to Trent, we finished the trip, I said, I think we've lived out the American dream now. So yeah, New York, what else did we do? They went to Old Mates, that was a good shout.
Yeah.
And I sent a photo to you boys, Pap, the Old Mate with the Roosters shirt on. So that was great. And then where do we go from there? Then Utah.
So I've got a question for you.
Yeah,
Like, you saw the guy in the Roosters shirt.
Yeah.
And I know we're all Roosters fans here. But would you jump on the random Souths guy thing just for the sake of it if you're going over to an international sport? Because I was saying this the other day. I'm like, you know what, next time I'm overseas, I would do it just to add to that. Like, I feel like it's becoming a must for overseas travellers. But does it cross the line being Rooster supporters going to that?
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I've worn a South shirt once in my life, and that was a stitch up for my Bucks party. And that night when we were having a little fire pit, the shirt went in there.
So wait, he's given me flack for being a Yankees fan, and he's worn a South shirt.
I wore it as a stitch up, but I burnt it.
I've got a technicality that I'll get away with here because where I played my juniors was the Yamina Bunnies.
Yeah.
If it's in minor shirt, I think it's play on.
Yeah, so I'll get away. Like, I'm happy to do that because there's the misconception there, like, oh, it's a South. No, it's the Yamina Bunnies. But yeah, like I just feel like every time I watch a rugby league game, watching the World Cup, watching like Wimbledon and I remember last time at Lords there was a guy in the stand in a Roosters one actually. I saw that. It's like, oh, there. It's not really a sporting event until you see it.
Yeah, it's like, where's Wally? Right?
Yeah.
And I think I sent a photo to you boys, and San Fran. I've gone, oh shit, there's a random South guy just walking the streets of San Fran.
There's always one. There's more of them out in the world than actually goes to a call for their games. Like, let's be fair.
That's it.
But no, yeah, try to keep up with the rugby league when I was over there on the 4th. Huge day out on the water. I think we went to not even the bottle over there, just go to the gas station, got some drinks, and we are undercompensated. We didn't have enough. But then we got to watch Manly versus the Eels. They're on Fox Sports 2 over there. But I think what they do on their end, they'll just pick a game because some nights it was AFL and then like the NRL was on.
But also the pen influence over there. I think Manly and Souths get a good run over there because of the notoriety that both teams have.
Yeah, thanks to good old Uncle Russell and Mr. Penn.
Yeah, no, and then what was a really nice delight? I was kicking myself about this in Nashville. We stayed up. It was 5 a.m. kickoff for the decider, and so the boys are up. You got the VPN sorted. I've got the 9 now. Like, we're so keen, and we're probably like 12 hours into our Nashville night out, and we've wrapped up anyway. We're in bed. We got the phone. We're all watching my fucking phone, and we all passed out. So Nashville won. Presto 0 because...
What was it in the group chat? It was like $1.02 that you were paying that you would not make the game.
I think that's where we started, and I think we suspended it after the next Snapchat because I think the next Snapchat he couldn't see, so I think we agreed it was suspended betting.
Yeah, I was spewing, and then I've gone, well, shit, because my phone was still on the ground. I had the charger in it, and it was playing like Today Extra.
I think if we coordinated ourselves a bit better, we could have just trolled the shit out of him and like just gone, holy shit, Queensland's got up 50 points to 2 or something.
Dude, we actually
woke up to just like, what the fuck?
I just me crying and be like, I can't believe that was the most disgraceful performance.
But then and then Trenny's pulled his phone up. He had a big smile on his face and gone, you're kidding me. But we weren't as shocked as Laurie Daly, of course. He was the most shocked on that field that night.
Yeah. He goes out a winner, retiring a winner.
He's, that Simpsons meme, one of the episodes where it's like, oh, we would go for pizza, but I spend all our money on the opposition.
Yeah.
Like, that's just Loz there. Like,
it's a funny one, though. Loz is done now. He's It will be interesting to see who coaches the Blues. But
did you see his daughter go off on social media having a crack at everyone?
Yeah, that was a good one. I think someone was saying, your daughter's behaved like so erratically in the stands, blah, blah, blah. And
it's Origin. It's like you've got to. Like,
that's the whole point of Origin.
But
it's rugby league and it's Origin.
It is,
it's
mate.
not fucking Wimbledon fucking finals.
Or your white shirts.
Yeah, white shirts, fairy claps.
And was it strawberries and cream that they get into over there?
And unless you're Nick Kyrgios, he just wears whatever he wants.
Yeah, he does.
What else happened in the state? Oh, yeah, then Texas. That was good. I've got a few stickers. Got a few stickers now on got the Terry Black's barbecue.
Yeah.
Damn, they missed it by not calling it Terry Lamb's barbecue, didn't they?
That would have been good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So that was a mad little barbecue house, and then 2 days later, David Beckham was there. So obviously, it was like one of the famous ones.
So this question is one: did you see anybody get shot?
Well, I think one night I heard some sort of gunshot commotion. It was funny, like out of all the places I went to, the place I probably felt most unsafe was probably LA.
Yeah,
That's fair.
You know,
It's a bit
I thought I had my theories about Texas, but I actually felt really safe in Texas. Nashville was cool. But yeah, mate, one gunshot. It was the last night actually in San Diego, and I was walking back to the hotel, and we're hearing this junkie going under a bridge. And I'm going, what
you sent that footage, didn't you?
Yeah, I sent the footage, and I was about to send the current affair. I thought this could get brutal. And I'm like, do we have a look? Because my inner journal, I was like, I want to kind of see what's going on here. And right near our hotel, right, we stayed in Motel 6. It was one of the finest hotels in San Diego, right, like $50 a night. I think at the back end of the trip, we're just looking for the most affordable one,
most cost effective.
Yeah, that had hot water coming out of their shower system, which they did, but. Security guard, he was out near this car yard, and he's like, dude, yeah, we call these boys and girls zombies around here. Where you boys staying? And we're like, just at a hotel. And he goes, boys, you're surrounded by the fucking zombies. He's like, last night someone jumped off this bridge. I was going, oh fuck, well here we are, right? But yeah, no, not many homeless. I think they got all swept up for the World Cup.
Yeah, they did a 2000 Olympic deal.
Well, all the host cities like New York, San Fran was sweet. And then Nashville, there were a few out and about, but yeah, no, I survived the dream of the freedom.
You didn't get deported. There was no Penny Wong didn't have to get up and say there was an incident involving an Australian citizen in the United States.
Well, no,
not that she knows about anyway.
No, there was a bit of commotion in Nashville. The English were going against the Irish, and it was going back to the old days.
That always ends out well, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, they weren't happy about it. I was asking questions, and then there was some Queenslanders and then some New South Welshmen in us, and that was getting a bit feisty. But no, we survived, mate. Back on home soil. Yeah. Back to ripping in round 21.
The RMTV podcast is brought to you by FDS Eyewear. FDS Eyewear is your one-stop shop for quality, affordable eyewear. With the latest lens technology and weekly eye testing services, FDS Eyewear provides competitive rates over the larger optical retailers. Visit their store at Wentworthville Plaza, just a short drive from Parramatta.
Eels Penrith. What do we think about that game, boys?
Look, a bit underwhelming, I think.
I thought Eels... Yeah, look, Penrith had 2 players in the bin, but look, Eels 18, Penrith 24. I thought Eels... look, where they are at the ladder, I think they're actually going all right.
Paris should have won that game.
Yeah.
They should have.
Like, it's really an indictment on an attacking team when you've got, for essentially 60 minutes of that game, for 20 minutes of that game, you are the majority on the side. Yeah. And you don't score points. You actually concede a point. I think that's just sums up Parramatta's season and the last 40 years.
Yeah, and Para fans are used to this. It's just like, well, look, it's another loss. The sun will rise tomorrow.
Yeah, but also I'll argue the point. And like I said, I do think Para should have won. I do think it's embarrassing. But is that also a sign of the age now where most teams are practicing defending with 12 players? So most teams, like if you take a player out, because one
of the plays that the Panthers did was just spectacular. Like, I hate them, but but where they moved up in one line and then slid. It was like, that is rehearsed. That is practice. They knew that they were down. They knew the sliding defense.
Yeah.
And they didn't let the overlap happen. It was just incredible.
And that's what I mean. Like, training now where the way a lot of teams do, where they train 13 on 12 intentionally and basically just bring the fullback into the line.
Look, you'd think the Roosters would be experts at that as well, because there's always guaranteed with Jared and Victor somebody's going to be in the bin.
Not as much anymore.
No, he's behaved himself.
Radley, I think Radley was on report this weekend, but the one team you don't want to be up against with 12 men is probably Penrith.
Yeah.
All right, and they held on. Credit to them. And look, we'll get into it soon, but there's probably not that one team where you're going, all right, they're definitely ahead of the pack. Penrith were, but I feel like they've come in a bit. So I think the comp's wide open.
That post-origin slump has sort of gotten them.
I had Newy up and about, and they've had some injuries. They went down to us, 23-22, a vintage DCE field goal, but... Jordy, you weren't too impressed.
I'm disgusted.
He's disgusted.
He's disgusted.
To be honest, Newcastle should have won. Newcastle were the better team.
Yeah.
Newcastle were the better team.
What was the atmosphere like? I didn't make the trip up to the Hunter. Was it?
To be honest,
9-1 in terms
of no. To be honest, it is the quietest I've ever heard a Newcastle crowd in Newcastle. Like, I reckon it was maybe 5 or 6 times where I actually heard a Newcastle chant. Like,
Yeah, wow.
I
That's
was
very-
purely disappointed. You know, you go to Newcastle, you expect them to be very
It's
loud and
really
boisterous.
like Mac Jones, you know, the notifications
Well,
we
cash
show.
stream, mate. What's going on?
They showed up, but
It
they
was-
just weren't loud.
It was one of those baited sort of like. Obviously, I wasn't at the game, even though it was tempting to take the wife. Yeah, it's very much like, you know, every time you hear Knights, they get around. Then it was a sellout, like with the asterisks of the fact that there's roof works
Still
going
21,000 there.
Yeah, which is a good turnout for a 6 o'clock game.
Yeah,
like I think when
100%.
when the Chooks played Titans down on Central Coast at 6 o'clock back in May, there was struggling to get 12 or something.
I think they finished with just over 12.
Yeah,
so
made the trip up.
like it was a good, and there was like on TV there was a good turnout of the Chooks. We heard the Chook supporter bay coming through in the big moments, in the big defensive and the tries and stuff like that. So, look, you know, like it was a real roller coaster within a roller coaster for Knights fans. You know, like Ponga rolled out beforehand, going up against the Chooks, like we all agreed, like where the Chooks are now in the season and with the roster, the Chooks should have put 13 plus.
Yeah, that's what I was saying leading up to. I sent a Jordy. I'm like, this is 13 plus. Yet again, close one. 2 back-to-back wins where we're getting the 2 points. It's not pretty, but
also, like, respect to Newcastle, because the reason it was close was because of the way they played. Like,
they
they
played,
played,
dude.
and that's what I mean. Newcastle deserved the win because they played phenomenal. Yep. It was just, basically, it was Teddy that pretty much locked it up for the Chooks.
Old former Rooster Sando Smith, if you kicked those goals, they would have won.
Did you hear about him? He was getting sledged from the boys when he was converting the penalty and.
So, no, funnily enough, funny story for you boys. So, where we're sitting, we're in the Chooks Bay. There was a Newcastle fan who had too much liquidation.
I heard this.
Most
And-
likely Fat Lamb if it's...
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was Fat Lamb, but it was definitely of the hops and wheat variety.
Yes.
Anyway, right before that conversion that Sando shanked that ended up being the difference maker, the penalty goal, he turns around and goes, "Imagine letting a bloke like Sandon Smith go. Next minute, shank." And I just turned and looked at him. I said, "Yeah, imagine letting him go."
So, like, you guys probably know what's new in the castle.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Neil say, and he does this thing where he's been doing it for a few years, where he runs a kilometre for every point the Knights have lost.
Like he was only one.
Now, last year he got punished pretty hard. I think that he's run more than our good friend Bam Bam.
Yes.
But yeah, you only have to do 1 kilometre on Friday night. But for a lot of the Newcastle fans, a lot of my mates and my connections with the club, you know, it was a hard loss for them because
Tough night.
yeah, because like the opportunity was there and they just didn't capitalise on it. But like this year overall for the Knights, like has been fantastic. Like I love the Knights, you know that I work with the club and living in the community. Like it's hard, it's hard not to be like see how the impact they've been having.
Yeah.
The Knights being in 2 points out on for and against from a top 4 side, from a top 4 berth, was not on anyone's bingo card after last year.
No.
So that is a big takeaway for what Holbrook has done, what Peter Parr, what Chris James has done through their recruitment and talent acquisition.
Yeah.
Getting Brown up there, getting Sandon up there, who's turning into this incredible utility player.
Well, he's gonna be playing 7 for the next year now because with Brown's ACL.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much saying that your halves are sharp and
and then you got
Sandon,
Steve, you got Sharp, you've got the Mullet twins coming out. So
I'll be honest, I was more scared of that game when I found out Ponga wasn't playing.
Yeah.
I was more scared knowing Sharp, and purely because I rate Fletcher Sharp. I actually reckon he'll be playing Origin in the next 2 to 3 years.
He's a flashy little player.
He's just so good that he can do it.
yeah. And then like there is that saying of like there's a saying up in Newy, stronger without Ponga.
Yes.
That
Wow,
kicks.
there you go. They haven't heard that one.
So it comes and goes. Like there's a love-hate relationship with Ponga with Nova Cashwins.
Okay,
Especially after losing to Cronulla because of goal conversions. It'd definitely be on the hate version.
Do you know, like touching on that, he's in the same vein as Sammy. Like post Origin, they have just been so. I reckon their bodies are shot.
Yeah.
And Toya said this last year. I think it was when he was talking. He was saying like, I don't know how the boys can
Back up
do
for
this.
so many years.
Yeah.
Do you think it's wise? Well, the first thing I want to add is, do you think there was a day of mourning in Newcastle on Saturday after that loss?
Oh, I think there was because of Brown and Lucas. Like
Yeah, I
Lucas
think
this year has been
That hurt a bit more than what.
than the loss.
And there's been a lot of criticism of Brown because every time there's a story about Dylan Brown, it's not Newcastle's number 7, it's Newcastle's $13 million man. They've always prefacing it with his salary. And they do that with a lot of players that are on that page. And they're going to do that, and I know we'll touch on this later about Sammy. But they're expecting it's the same thing that happened with DCE. Everybody's expecting players like Brown and DCE to, every time they touch the ball, to make something amazing happen.
Yep.
What they don't understand is that they come into a side to add that 1%.
Yeah.
Because that activates players like for Newcastle, it's Dylan Lucas, Fletcher Sharp, Sandon Smith. They're doing all these plays that are setting up Bradman Best, Dom Young, Greg Marzu. That's what Brownie's done at Knights. DCE's doing that at the Roosters. It's allowing Teddy to be Teddy and not steer the game. Like we've seen it how he hasn't struggled, but he hasn't been his best.
Because he's had to do too much.
Yeah, and he's like at the moment, and there's another fullback in the competition that's a bit bald and has a big cut on his head that should pay attention to this. Tedesco's in every single time the Roosters are involved.
He's been looking unreal, mate. I haven't seen him this good.
Like he's everywhere. I'm expecting to go get my mail, and there's Tedesco popping out of the letterbox.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's Italian like a fine wine.
But that's what players like bringing a player like DCE and Brown into a side does. That enables players like Sam, Hugo, Billy, and Teddy to just be themselves. And look at Nat Butcher. Since his suspension, Victor I think is the most mature he's played in a very long time.
Yeah.
He's
gone to another level.
He's at that mature phase, Radley, on and off the field. He's got the business now, the family.
Yeah, he's really settled.
He's put his head in.
I think his missus has also slapped him because obviously they had to delay the wedding because of him getting
it gave him
trouble.
a real reality check, and he's come back for it. And, this is the brilliance of the Roosters management to see that he's come back from that suspension and been like, all right, I came within a breath of losing my spot in this club. How do I repay that back? And how many times have we seen players in that similar position come through, win Dally M's, win premierships and all that sort of stuff?
But the thing I will say about Radley, like a lot of people gave him crap over the last few years for being lazy. How many times this year on the 5th tackle has he made a tackle on the kicker with so much pressure? And he done it again on Friday in a key spot.
Have a look at his line speed, eh? Just straight off.
The problem is he's too quick at the moment. Like people are struggling to keep up with him.
Well, there was the game that I was watching over in the States against the Eels, and this bloke's running for the ball like Speedy Gonzalez. It's bloody Radley.
Mate, look at Canberra.
Just offside that.
The Canberra game.
Canberra there, yeah.
But when you're a lock and you're running 50 to 60 metres and you're beating a fullback, I know Weeks wasn't going at full speed, but when you're getting there before a fullback, that shows me how much you care.
Not only that, though, but he's backing it up. It's not a one-off. Like, you'll have a look at bloody Juggernaut out of bloody Manly.
Gerbo.
Yeah, he does like one thing and then he's cooked for the next 10 minutes and then he does another thing.
Well,
Victor's
back-to-back tackles.
You got to look at that headgear he's wearing.
That's what we're waiting. Yeah,
but at least Victor's got the proper headgear. You see, that's what it is. Gerbo needs the proper headgear.
But looping back, those boys like DCE and you see it in all the different chat groups and online. Like Roosters do well, he doesn't get mentioned. Roosters do bad, even if he's got nothing to do with that day, he cops the blame for it. But he's business is a force multiplier, and that's what he's done. He's multiplied the capacity of all the rest of the team. So
it could probably be like what's needed to get to the next step.
It raises the question about whether he should play on next year because there's rumours going that he is.
Well, do you think Sammy Walker, like we mentioned, Toya said last year, Origin took a toll on his body. Depending on where, if Roosters a safe lock for the 4. You give Sammy Walker just a week or two off, Chuck Hugo on the halves.
I personally, I say no because we
want to get the run.
We want to get the run. We want to get that home
final.
And we want to improve. Like, cause we've all said it, our form against this year has been a bit average.
Yeah,
and we need to really boost that up. I think we're yet to. What are we? We're like 87 or something.
87 after the weekend.
We're the only ones in the top 4 that are in double digits.
Yeah.
So we need to fix that. We need to have that confidence going into the final. I know that's all academic week 1 of the finals.
The only one thing I will say around that is, yes, our for and against isn't crazy good, but we have the 3rd best defense in the comp behind Penrith and Warriors. And I think sometimes that doesn't get looked at enough. Yeah. Yes, we aren't attacking and scoring, but we also had a lot of games early in the year where, teams have put 40 on us. Dolphins have put 48 on us. Penrith put 40 on us.
That Dolphins one, I think that's a bit of a...
I agree. Yeah. I don't, as a fan, I'm not upset by it. We were missing 7 players before and 4 or 5 spine. And, we then ended up missing 9 because Foley and Hugo went out with HIAs. But we've had a couple of big scores put on us where the other team scored 30 or 40 and we probably haven't scored much. But our defense has still been solid a lot of the time.
That's what I'm pretty impressed with. I think they've got the defense locked in now, right?
Now the next step is our attack.
Yeah, that's it. Look, defense win comp, so... That's what we'll need. And then the next one, Souths 28, Storm 26. I think this round really revealed, what teams are pretty much, you could safely say, done. I think Melbourne, they're done for the first time under Bellamy outside of 2010 with the salary cap
I think
dramas.
it's like the football gods and a bit of creative maths will be the only way that they get back in.
I think they're done, dude. I think Storm are done. The Grant injury is going to kill them now.
I was going to say
They're playing like they're done too. The whole
They
energy
seem just
around
deflated.
it. Yeah.
Maybe with the Bellamy, the whole off,
everything going on. I still say if Grant was still playing, they have a chance because, let's be fair, you take Hughes out, you take Munster out, you kind of take Sewer out. With Grant, they'll make things happen.
The whole season started off on the wrong foot with that Lomax saga.
Yeah,
and even though that got resolved before it went to
it just
hearing,
hasn't.
It was a cloud because that impacted who was the renewals and player contract extensions. Jack Howarth is all still they haven't locked in something with him.
Meany's gone to Perth.
And then you've got those long term injuries as well,
Coates.
Katoa as well. Before the season even started. Kamakamika as well with the mini stroke and
they've had a crap
If there's
run.
a team that's cursed this year, some gypsies given something, it's been the Storm.
Some of the AFL gods have gone, nah, screw them, we want some attention back.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be a big changing of the guard at Melbourne soon. Whether or not Bellamy pulls the plug in it and he has one more year, sails off in the seas. Does this mean Billy Slater comes in? It's an interesting one because they're losing a lot of players this year as well.
Yeah,
and now the rumours have come out about Munster.
PNG. Well, PNG, that's just opened up a whole new, this time last year we were talking about R360.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned that now, have we?
Yeah, well, that's died. Live Golf is dying in the arse as well.
Yep.
The Seatters have pulled the money out of that. Is the PNG experiment going to be similar?
Is that the new R360?
Is the one team that's really waiting for PNG to come into the comp and die in the arse is the Titans? Are they...
I'll be honest. I think the way it's looking... PNG are going to come into this comp and a lot of people are going to be pissed about the tax-free because, you look at their lineup already, pretty solid start. They've got some good names. And if they keep signing names like that, there's rumours Liam Martin's basically going to say to Penrith, what's your best offer? And then I'm going to go to market.
Imagine the scenes if Cleary signs.
But it's also the fallacy of it all, though, because if you have a look at, again, I hate doing this, but paying a compliment to the Panthers is their next man up for a long time. I remember, I think it was 2-3 years ago, they won everything. They won New South Wales Cup, Jersey Flags. They won Harold Matthews, SG
There's
Ball.
good cattle out in Penrith.
Yeah. PNG's not going to have that. Even the Chooks, very proudly, we've gotten into that position where when we've been without our big players, in comes this young bloke called Hugo Savala. We've cultivated these crop of players coming through reserve grade into the team. Every team's doing it. The Wires have started to do that because that was a big falling off for them for a long time. It's two players go, that's their season done.
Yeah.
Even though it's up to last year, that was the case.
Metcalf went and that was it.
Whereas this year they've had some big injuries, some big losses off the field, and they're still limping. Well, they're still holding their own, I should say. Is probably a better phrase.
Oh, they're starting to limp.
Yeah, but everyone's paying attention to the top marquee signings for PNG. But what's going to happen with their reserve and feeder? That's the one I want to have a look at.
Well, that's going to be the interesting thing. Obviously, there's a PNG team in the QRL Cup. So whatever they call it up there,
Intrust
Super Cup. Yeah, that's right. And
but
they've historically been a bad team.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm interested to see what that first 17 are going to look like. But then I want to look beyond that first 17 and look at those next 13. Because that's where, that next 13, your top 30, be interesting to see who they sign as depth.
Because they're building a really good front of house. They're ticking the box in the business sense of things.
But is that down to Michael Shamus being so smart and having been around the sport? He's got the right people around him who are doing successful things.
But also, that's part of it. But also the NRL's playing a big role in setting it up. One of the markers that Misha Zielinski, who used to be the GM of affairs for the NRL, who played a big role in setting up the PNG bid, that was one of the caveats. It's they earmarked board, CEO, chief operating, chief commercial, all that sort of stuff long before, because that was part of the business sustainability pitch.
Yeah.
So they've gone about it that right way, but I'm just not buying, you get 2 or 3 of those big names go down with an ACL. You have a look at Brownie's ACL on Friday night. That was the most mundane way to get injured.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
People were expecting it to be a Egan Butcher send-off for a hip drop, and then we look and go, Oh crap! That's no contact. That's his ACL.
Yeah, like so, the footy gods work in mysterious ways. Like if they get hit with something like that, they're cooked. And this great experiment is just going the way of Arthur.
They'll be going, Lua goes down, and then we'll just get one of the kids in the stands to jump on the field. But
although to be fair, some of those kids over there are probably going
probably
right.
would, yeah.
Just chuck 'em a pair of boots and on the field. There you go.
I thought it's all good, mate. I've got my own.
It's funny. It's ready
funny
to see
boots. What do you mean? I don't need boots.
I like how you sit back and you see these players, the land in PNG. It's like Queen Elizabeth coming to Australia. Like the parade they're getting through the airport. It's like, you see today Zach Lomax is there and all the kids and stuff. They're like, to them, it's like what cricket is to Indians.
But I guess it's also as well, like when you think of PNG, like they've never really had much experience there. They've had the odd PM11 game at Port Moresby and that, and when when you go to Port Moresby is like PNG 11, like PM11, versus the PNG 11, like you're going to be surrounded. It's just they're all seeing these superstars that they've seen on TV or they've heard about and all that. As long as that attraction and that that in the light stays up there, you're going to encourage that next generation, which is what they need to do over there, which will build their pathways.
And that's what, like, in two senses, like the PNG Prime Minister and then what Volandis, and I've heard him say this at a couple of luncheons, is that this team is means more for the country than it does about just being a sports team. Yeah. It's going to break generational poverty over there. And the PM over there is basically trying to do what Nelson Mandela did for us in South Africa in 95 with the World Cup. He's going to use the PNG Chiefs to unify the country and sort of, we all know the troubles that PNG has had over since its independence back in 75, the issues that they've had, and this is the gateway for that. So it could be that, cultivating that next generation is through that.
It'll be interesting to see, but before them, Perth Bears next year, so that'll be
they're still trying to work out who's playing six for them.
Do you know what annoys me about all these new teams is I've got to keep buying those new fucking fridge magnets with the ladders. I've just got a collection. It's just get on.
Look, Souths, do they stay in the 8 finals? It's like, look, they've had a few, like Murray's out, Latrell's out, or Storm just...
I'll be honest. I think if Grant doesn't get injured, I don't think South win the game. I actually think Melbourne win the game.
It was pretty back and forward.
It was back and forth.
There's two variables in that one.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. If Grant doesn't get injured, they win.
Yeah.
And if Cody Walker, he kept his cool and he stayed focused. If he loses,
it was remarkable to see. Seriously.
Yeah.
It was a surprise.
Yeah. I think it was
It was definitely paying $81 on Sportsbet for him to not get.
I think it was Kenty or somebody was saying on his podcast, like, you got to get somebody in there to just, their whole job is to upset Cody Walker.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's your job for the game. It's just to upset him. And then the minute he goes, he just does stupid shit. And like we saw that in the Panthers game.
Yeah, the kick on Jack Cole. How dumb are you?
Yeah, but speaking of upset people, Tigers fans, mate, 56-10 in the nation's capital. Canberra looked like
they played lock again. Can anyone tell me who played lock?
Yeah. Well, look, I'd love to get Presto back and hear his take on this. He's a diehard Tiger.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, not you, Presto, the other Presto.
Yeah, P2.
Oh, yeah. So, that's what I was... Yeah.
He was so confused, though.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. I spoke to him a bit when I was overseas, and, he's just part of being a Tigers fan, I guess.
Yeah. How can you do it?
I think that's kind of a sad way to have to think about it, though. Like, you look back at the beginning of the year, and I got a couple of mates who are West fans from obviously growing up out that way in that Campbelltown region. And, start of the year, they were fucking giving
They were high on their supply, doing the Viking clap on the hill. They're like, holy shit.
No. Fucked ever since they've done that.
You know what? I don't think it was the Viking clap was the issue. The fuck Canberra chant. That's what got them. Because remember, they were doing fuck the Raiders. Yeah. I reckon that was the karma.
You do that, and the rugby league gods, they're going to move a few. Yeah.
They're just like, here, have a 56-10 dropping.
There's teams that... There's only one team that I'd love to see suffer, and that's, as a good Roosters supporter, is South.
Yeah. It's lovely.
Yeah, overall, though, there's... I like to see the Titans do well.
Yeah.
I like them to play competitive footy. I like to see Parramatta do the same. And it's the same for the Tigers. Like, we'll both probably...
Well, I've had a soft spot for the Tigers, right? Because, junior club was the Tigers. But I don't know, just something about him. I just feel for him? I don't know.
Yeah, but, like, both of us are old enough to remember that when they won that
grand final.
Yeah,
that was an incredible game.
It's good for rugby league. For a club to do well, whether... It's premierships or well off the field. It's good for the game.
I'll be honest. Most of the pubs in Campbelltown, Camden, Narellan, and all those surrounds made their yearly budget in that week after that grand final. Like,
yeah,
everyone was out and about. They were celebrating it. Tigers shit was everywhere. You go through Campbelltown now, and the only place you'll see like a little fucking, you know, those triangle billboard things. You see one of them at the corner of Narellan Road and Camden Valley Way, and Campbelltown Road, and then you'll see a sign near Campbelltown Sports Stadium. That's it. Like, but that week after, and for, you know, the year after, everything was West. Fucking players were up everywhere. It looked like Brisbane when the Broncos play.
The thing that frustrates me the most is, like, I don't mind if the Tigers get thumped 60 points every week. You know, that's football. That's just the game. But it is this constant off-field drama that it's an embarrassment. I'm not a Tigers fan and I'm embarrassed by it. I'm a rugby league fan, and it is just horrible to see that this is the biggest story that's dominating rugby league right now. Like, you know,
right, question for you both. Is there a point where you actually genuinely get bored of hearing about bullshit and drama at Tigers?
Absolutely.
Because I'm close to that point, I reckon.
It's a thing where you sit, like, there's, you know, like, there's the 3 certainties in life, death, taxes, and something like that.
Death, taxes, and shit going on in Tigers.
Yeah, like, you know, 3 certainties in rugby league. Latrell's going to be injured for half the season. You know,
still hasn't beaten his 4 seasons at Roosters.
It's their year and they're going to miss the finals, and it is drama in Tiger Town.
Yeah. It just goes way back from, like... Yeah, they had the Tiger Town, Tails and Tiger Town.
I actually didn't mind that, though.
Yeah, but
is there a point?
It was a bit tacky. It's like, maybe do that at a club that's successful, right? I don't know.
No, I'll talk offline about that, because there's a really interesting topic which from my recent trip that comes into. But it really is like, I've got a good friend, Diane. She's a massive Tigers fan. Yeah. At what point do they get, like, I know if, like, the Roosters were in the same boat of, like, we were there. I lived through the 90s of the Roosters where things weren't exactly that great.
Transit lounge, they called it.
That was. And it's sort of like, okay, things will get better, or at least they're putting an effort in. If that's the case at the Tigers with them playing, that's fine. But this drama stuff, it's like, where do you draw the line? Where do you, as a fan, as a stakeholder, as an interested party in the business, turn around and say, you know, this is bullshit? I commend the board, and I commend Benji for saying, we're not going to tolerate this shit from players and certain agents.
Yep.
Agent,
yep.
You know, and it's like, yeah, and it's because if, like we were saying in our chat, like, if we did that at work,
we'd be, mate. If I'd done that tomorrow at work, I'd get it. We'd be canned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? Like, Benji had this thing at the beginning of the year, and Tigers blast on social. Not going to stand for this shit anymore. We're going to another level. If you don't like it, there's the door. Well, 6 months down the track, not even 6 months, we've just circled around the fucking roundabout, and we're back at the same shit again. Like, come on, man.
I think I'm putting it down to when Luai announced his signing to PNG. I just thought from there, it's obvious. They just started losing all these games.
Yes and no, though. Because then they had that game, I think at Campbelltown. Luai scored a fucking hat. Oh, Leichhardt. Luai scored a hat-trick. He was the best player.
But, like, this isn't, like, to blame this all on Luai. Like, I know the statistics correlate with that. But is it really, like, that's the problem? Or is it?
No, I think some Tigers fans would have saw that and be like, you know, he was committed. He was going to stay. Like, I'm not leaving. And then now it's unfolded that they just told him to go to. Well, he's gone to Paradise.
Well, yeah, they've told him to.
That's a Paramount. That's a Tigers thing, though, isn't it? Since we've known the Tigers, that their whole thing is like, players. Oh yeah, we're going to say next minute they're at a different club. And like, look, you know, that's what they do.
To be honest, I don't actually mind that the club said, look, move on. We're going to we'll get someone to play your position who's going to be here in the future. But the way it was done was fucking horrible. Like, if you're the club, if I'm Benji, right, I'm pulling Luai in and going, hey, mate, look, you're obviously going to PNG in 28. You're not going to be, you know, we don't want you here next year. And it's not because we don't want you as a person. We want to start breeding our talent. So either you're going to take a role on our bench as, say, a 14 and do whatever I tell you to do, or go look at another club. And then as West, you go, all right, well, Benji, you've had that conversation. Luai, we're gonna put out, this is what we're going to make it seem like, is that, you know, we're basically going to paint it as, it's not that we don't care, but we want to, you know, invest in the future of our club, and we can't do that with you road blocking. That's the release that's going out. And I reckon this whole Luai shit would have blown over. Instead, they were so secretive and done that. Today, and we'll talk about Dewey later, but today more shit's come out about Dewey. And it's just like, how many times do you have to get bitten by the snake to fucking learn don't pick up the snake?
I feel like some clubs, you know, you can just really put an end to it. Yeah. You know, like your chooks. And then it doesn't help. Like the media will have a field day with this because Luai's put something in his story. You know, there's another angle from it. Oh, he said this, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's never ending there. It seriously isn't. Like, what's the solution? We're going to sack, you know, what a lot of clubs do when they're going shit. Oh, we're going to sack the coach. Outside
it's
of
a cop out.
I don't think they will. I don't think they'll sack Benji.
No, absolutely not.
Who coached the Tigers before Benji? It was
Tim
Sheen, right?
So they had Tim Sheen.
Yeah.
Brett
So
Molly
outside
was
of
there.
Tim Sheen,
Noddy, yeah.
the past two coaches have won the past competitions. Ivan Cleary and bloody Michael Maguire. So keep Benji. And I mean, look, the way he speaks impresses. It's
Like
pretty
you
impressive.
said, like a while ago, there's the 3-year rule with a coach.
Yeah. I was about to say the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, year one, you come in, you've got to work out what the fuck you've got, who you want to get rid of and all that. Year two, you start to build your roster. Year three, you get your roster. And I think this was year 4, right?
He's got his roster now. Like,
yeah, he's got his roster. And this was year 4 where the results were starting to show. And then it's just fucking dropped off.
And good on him for executing a hostage.
Yeah.
Because he stamped his authority on the team, going, no, this is what I want to do. This, and like you said, build a team around that's going to take you for the next 5 or so years. And you start building on that. When you have somebody go, look, fuck it, I'm going to go somewhere else. Well, okay, cool. See you later. Thanks, mate. See you later.
Yeah. Appreciate your help.
Yep.
And look, I think Wes owe Luai a lot because I think guys like Bulla, Taruva,
he got him there
Afanu
partially,
brothers,
yeah.
like he brought a lot of those guys in. And that's great. That was what Luai was. That's what they signed Luai for.
Having a look at the Knights in that capacity, like we've turned, the Knights have turned around and said to Gags, look, we love you. We want you to stay. The community loves you. But the money that we would have to pay you, we can lock down some juniors in the long term. And Gags is like, yeah, that's rugby league. Thanks,
Yeah.
It's a
he
business.
gets his swan song, goes back to the club he debuted at.
That's
at
right.
Brisbane.
You know,
so,
Exactly. And he'll probably live up there for the rest of his life.
yeah.
So, that's that maturity. And Benji's trying to exert that at the Tigers. And some very immature players are just like, it's a game, like it's poor choice of words. But
I agree with you. I actually think that the standards are finally set at that club and players are going, oh shit, we've never had to do this. And it was the same with Madge. Same machines. Like Noddy had the same issue with Dewey. He brought it out on SEN.
Could you
and we'll talk
imagine
about it later.
trying to pull that shit at the Panthers, Roosters and Storm?
See ya.
Yeah.
See ya.
The Roosters,
Goodbye.
see what they did with somebody that was messing around and doing the wrong thing within the team environment and wasn't performing.
See ya.
Months after they re-signed him, see you later.
Yeah.
And then for Canberra on the field, look, happy days for them. 56.
Forgot about
I
Canberra.
think,
Canberra's a thing, isn't they?
Yeah, look,
Sticky.
they could be making a little cheeky run to the finals if all things look that way. But
I think too little too late, though.
Yeah. I think
it's
the
going to be
best-
tight.
Best for
For a
them is
few
to
clubs,
finish it
yeah.
on a good note and use that to carry themselves over into the next
and I
year.
feel like that's a lot of years for like Ricky. They'll finish on a good note, like I'm 9th, 10th, whatever.
Yeah,
and
I think
then
we
the
did
next
stats
year,
on that
they'll-
last year, how many times he finished just outside the 8.
and then they'll go into the finals. It's kind of like this repetitive thing for Ricky, but
But I still stand. I feel like at the start of this year, they were too caught up on the back end of last year and what happened. And even at the Daly M's when Ricky Shield got coach of the year, you could just see everything he was at. He was still dirty about that. It's like, mate, you come in there, say November 1, go, all right, boys, this is how we ended our season. Fucking done with. Let's get ready. And they missed the start because I think they were still focused on last year. But it's good to see them put in the performances like Kaya Weeks. Normally when
unreal.
Canberra goes good, he's the centerpiece. But when they go bad, he's the centerpiece for a bad reason. But, mate, he's been kicking goals and fucking scoring tries for them. So Sanders is working out, which is, that youthful influence.
But and then but they also got the huge loss of Hudson Young. He's
Yeah.
had a great year
Is
up to
it?
that Origin as well.
It was amazing that, statistic-wise from injuries, like, we've seen a lot of hip chops, syndesmosis, ACLs, all that sort of stuff, and out of nowhere, and it hasn't been in for ages, 2 Achilles in 1 round. Yeah. That's just like...
Yeah, and look, to be fair, it's one of those injuries you just see happen. You're just nut.
And you're not out for a week or 2. You're out for
You're
That's
done.
a 9-month turnaround.
Yeah,
minimum.
to be honest, sometimes that's harder than an ACL. So, yeah.
And then the next one, the Doggies, 18 over the wires 6. The Dogs, they got Stephen Crichton in the halves running some shape.
That's amazing. Like, whatever medicines he's on, like, they need to get that to the sick and dying because I'm pretty sure he was like...
He was medicabbed off 2 weeks ago.
weren't they calling in, like, the helicopter or something? to
They were
get him-
singing Wheels on the Bus 2 weeks ago for him.
I don't know. Look. Obviously, it's worked for the Dogs. I thought their defense was great. The Wires just looked.
They look tired.
They looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I actually thought the Dogs were going to get flogged. And I said to my brother-in-law, who's a Dogs fan, I said, how do you take a guy who played a proper halfback role, kick 2 40-20s for you the week before in a 32-0 drubbing, and then drop him to reserve grade? Or I think he ended up playing 14. But, I thought the Dogs were going to get done because O'Sullivan was on the bench, and then all of a sudden they pulled that out. And
Yeah, it was a weird one to watch. I think the Dogs were lucky to get away with it though.
Dallin did blow two tries.
No,
that he
I don't know
normally
what
get.
the surface there was a bit
Yeah.
slippery. He
Yeah.
slipped
Like,
over
the
himself
Chooks
twice.
have had a couple of games like that this year where just everything just like I think a good one would be that Dolphins game. You know, just things didn't. We were putting things together, but they just didn't come.
The Cowboys game at Magic Round.
Yeah, like it was there, but it was just missing that like half a beat, like even like some of the like rugby league's a game of inches, and it was
Yeah.
like some of those bounces off the kicks was just like that little bit, you know, one or two bit too much that was going in,
Yep.
going in
Well,
dead, and yeah.
When it sticks, and
Yeah, sometimes it
Yeah.
bounces your way.
But it
Well,
was a
Miss
packed
Barnett
crowd in front of a packed crowd
in
apparently.
front, in front of a packed crowd for her debut,
Yeah.
Gracie Hayden.
yeah, Gracie, no cricket. She's on the rugby league now.
Yeah.
No, but
Dad's a
it's-
big Broncos fan.
Yeah, it's good. I'll tell you what, the team at Fox, they
They've done
employ
well.
everyone,
They
former
do.
players.
Well, just the segue on the team at Fox, I have to go. The NRLW commentary is elite.
Yes.
yes,
I was certain, you know, my sports media nerds come through. I've got to message him. But, yeah, no, it's good to see James Preston on calling some of the games.
yeah, he's got a voice for it. Presto.
I will admit, and we've had this discussion a lot about Channel 9 versus Fox. Fox just get it. Women's and men's.
Yeah.
Channel 9, sometimes I'll listen to it, and there's some people who are legends of the women's game. I won't name them per se, but legends of the women's game, and I just go, I'm struggling to listen to you. Flick Fox on, fucking brilliant.
How good is Tiana Petitana-Gray?
Dude.
Yeah, she's good.
Just elite. Do you watch that Pacific Sports Show that she
Yeah.
does?
On ABC.
Yeah.
I've seen. a bit
I've
of it.
been pestering ABC to try and get us there because I want to go to that. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
it's
you
done.
can sit in the crowd.
Yeah, because they have it
Yeah.
allowed, and I'm pretty sure it's done here in Parramatta.
Yeah.
Like that would be just elite.
And
Yeah, it's-
she's so I've known her through work because we used to work. Where I work, she used to work, and she's always been like that. Like presentations, that she has that ability. She's just so good.
Even like Millie Elliott when like she's done a bit. I think she does. She
does a bit on 9,
Yeah.
and I love
Triple
listening
M.
to her.
Yeah, her triple
And
M. is cool.
Triple
yeah.
M stuff's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Look, if you got the extra cash out there, guys, just get yourself a KO subscription. Save yourself watching Channel 9.
No, I've got Fox, so I
We
just
got
skimmed the
Fox,
Fox off my parents.
Yeah, well,
Well, that's, you know, like, and that's
even better.
the indignity. You know, that indignity of Origins over is that I don't know as a Queenslander what's worse is losing Game 3 at the Cauldron or having to lose it and listen to the Channel 9 commentary.
Ah, mate.
I
I'll
know
tell you
having
what.
to listen to Channel 9 while you lose.
Yeah.
And then the next one, the Cowboys, the Queensland Derby, 18, Broncos 10. Cowboys pretty much putting a line through the Bronx.
Yeah,
I loved it.
That's done.
Do you know
Yeah.
why I love
Great
it?
game. Jason
It was
Tumuelo.
physical. There's lots of injuries. They're going to be sore. They're going to be tired. They've got that, you know,
Short turnaround.
that pent up aggression of a derby out of their system that they've won. They're going to be happy about that. Nice, good release. And they're hopefully going to just be a bit delirious for Thursday night.
Yeah, well,
Look,
5-dayer against the Chookies.
Hopefully that's where the Chooks put their 13 plus on.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, no, Cowboys, they're looking pretty solid, dude. Obviously, they had a slip up against the Dolphins the week before, but
They're fucking Dolphins.
no, I think they're good. I think even Todd paid them before the week, so everyone hates the Broncos. Really have to amp it up a bit.
To be honest, I thought that was going to be a deathly mistake. And
Well,
then
it's a risk you
when I
take.
saw the way the Cowboys came out, I was like, no, they're up
Because he's
for
been
it.
back in Purdue in the halves for a long time against a lot of criticism.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are like, why would you let Drinkwater go? And he goes, look what I've got to replace him with. Like, and he said, I love Drinky. He's a huge part of this club. I love everything he's done. I'm so grateful and thankful for him.
But he's going to the Saints.
But he's 30 years old. It's now time for me to start to look at the next
I'll
generation.
give the Donkeys something, though, last night. They didn't just go, oh, fuck it, and pack it in. Like, some of those trick plays they did, I think it was in probably the last 10 on the second tackle in their own 20, they did that little kick.
They had
and
a
Yeah.
crack, dude. But
Yeah.
they didn't get it. It's like we were just saying before, like, it's what sticks. You look at last year, their finals run, it was just sticking, mate. They had that,
a lot of luck went in their
Luck
favour,
run.
didn't it?
Well,
and then it was good to see. Did you catch Reece Walsh just went, got steamrolled?
Yeah. Oh, mate. I watched it and then I replayed it about 6 times and then watched the replays on Foxtel just so I could watch it. But, like, this is like so many people are like, nah, the Broncos beat Penrith. They're going to go on this run. I'm like, no. And I think I might have even said it to you, Presto.
Because
I
you're
was
the
like,
only one that tipped them in our...
I tipped them because I had a feeling that the Cowboys were going to start sliding, but fuck, I was wrong. But those Reece Walsh Magic Million plays, they're not going to come through every week. And guess what? They didn't.
He's not that player to do it every week.
He's a hit and miss player.
Yeah.
No, but that's exactly right. So we had one was getting run out by Clifford. Like, mate, if he steps back in and takes a tackle, it's first tackle nearly on the halfway line, and then puts a grubber through on the third tackle, goes dead. Like,
you know, like that sort of consistent player to do it every week. And I don't want to sound like we're sucking eggs here, but there's only one in the comp that does that, and that's Teddy.
yeah.
That dude. You know, like he is the only time I've seen him not do it is when he's like carrying it. Remember how like he has like this giant plate on his chest? Like when he's carrying an injury, that's the only time I haven't seen him being able to like be Mr. Reliable.
Yeah.
And like, you know, with Walsh, he had that great run last year that got them to the premiership and won it. But like we said, there's so many instances that could have, like a millimetre could have gone the other way.
Yeah.
And they could have been bounced in the first week against the Raiders.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, if the rugby league gods weren't working overtime, Canberra beat them in Canberra.
Yeah.
That game was just, you can't script that again, like seriously.
No, exactly right. But I also think it says something about the Broncos at the moment that there's too many Chiefs, not enough Indians.
Yeah.
And like, the two of their players account for like 900 games or 600 games or something like that. And now they're bringing nothing against Gags, but that's going to take up 3 of their players next year, totaling 1,000 NRL games amongst them.
Yeah, but I would also argue, you know, Renault's obviously retiring. Shibasaki's moving on, so that's why he slid in. And to be honest, the guy that was supposed to replace Renault in Kobe Black, they pissed him off by re-signing Reynolds and let him go down to Canberra. So this U-Butte Queensland Origin 19 star, who was meant to be the next big thing at the Broncos, is now playing in Canberra because of Madge going, I wanted Renault.
If I was in charge of the Broncos, I'd axe Reece Walsh. I'd tell him to go look for another club.
Really? Well.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck around with it. It's a cultural. The thing with them is a cultural problem, and it stems from him. If he's wants to be a part of it, he wants to play football. It's like exactly the same as Latrell.
He can be one of the best players in the world.
Absolutely. Like when Latrell played those 95 games over those 3, what was it? Those 5 seasons for the Roosters.
4 years, 95.
Yeah, and versus the 96 over the 7 years at Souths.
No, he's one less at South.
As a South fan,
One
though,
less at South still.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the same with Latrell. Latrell and Walsh are the same. When they want to play and they want to be a superstar, they are one of the most entertaining and effective players on the field.
Beginning of the year, look at how good Latrell was playing.
When they don't want to do it, when they can't be fucked, when they're like, oh, look, you know, I don't like because the coach was mean to me or the media's mean to me, so I'm going to piss off to my farm in Taree, or I'm going to go back and paint my nails in my...
and drink out of the toilet water.
Drink out of the toilet water back in my penthouse
That
on
turned
the
out
Gold
to
Coast.
be a great marketing tool.
Yeah,
that one,
I actually bought one of those for my cousin for Christmas.
Did you?
Yeah, he fucking loves it.
It is funny though, because as a South fan
it's even got
now,
like a ceramic poo in it.
as a South fan now, you'd be frustrated at this whole Latrell thing, and then I think
They've suspended contract negotiations for him. But going back to
hold him off.
but going back to the Broncos, like it is a culture, and you build a win. Like Madge is that old school. You show up, you work. You want to have a rest. You want to have time off. That's what after the season's for.
Yeah.
But for the 11, essentially 10 months of preseason and the competition, you're there to work, and they don't like it. And that's the only way you do that is to execute the hostage and the person that is causing that problem. And that's, in my opinion, Reece Walsh. Doesn't matter if he pulls out these amazing tries and he looks fantastic in the promos for, you know, that flying thing he does that Fox plays over and over and over again.
He's the cover boy. He's Broncos, right?
He's the poster boy, yeah.
And that's what's getting, you know, like...
Oh, that leads into like that article Kempy fucking wrote a few weeks ago, saying about like to make the game like an international sport, you've got to start developing these player identities, like what soccer has with Messi and what's the, I don't know,
Ronaldo.
Yeah, I don't follow
and Beckham.
those are like building those individual brands, and he's saying that person's Walsh. And like, well, if you want to send the message that hey, you can get paid $1.2 million a year for showing up like 20% of the time. Like,
see, the guys that you should be focusing that on are you guys like your Tedescos, your Pongers to an extent,
your emerging
your
guys
Sam
as well.
Walker, but even like from
look, even Chinocchio, like, you know,
Tedesco is you could.
I don't think I've fucking heard that one before.
But with Teddy, like even Reece Walsh, he's gone here.
Actually, did I tell you what my missus said at Origin about chins?
Nah.
when Cleary scored his first try, my missus, first time she's ever watched a full game of football, like 80 minutes, right? And she's, to her credit, she said, I loved it. Cleary scores, and she goes, he's got more chin than a Chinese phone book. Sorry, you made me think of it.
So the thing with his chin, every time he gets gifted and glazed and protected, his chin gets bigger.
I'm just wondering why they don't call him offside more, because it is offside.
It's a chin of substance.
Look,
you could
look, Claire's, look, your feet were behind the kicker, but your chin was 2 miles out in front.
Dude, his team, you got to market that chin somehow. Like, I know he's got the NC7 brand he's doing with his
with the kicking team, which I think is awesome. That's the sort of stuff you need to do.
So you got to get this chin. You got to get the chin with something else and sell it because people will buy it.
You could almost make him a wrestling wrestling thing because he is the epitome of sweet chin music.
Yeah. it's like with Tedesco. Like he needs to do a partnership deal. I saw he was doing something with KFC a few weeks back, but get him on like a Tabasco sauce and have like the Tedesco version.
Or even like a Colgate ad. Like that guy's got the biggest.
Oh, he's pearly whites.
Yeah, that's fucking fantastic.
And then all right, let's what do we got next? We got Souths. No,
we just talked about Souths.
We just talked about Souths. Who the fuck? Oh, Saints 18. Titans 38. Look, I enjoy seeing the Titans win. I think there's a part of me that likes to see him do well. You know, I rate Tino. I think he's a great player. He's a Queenslander, but
we'll have problems.
They've had so many hard years, the Titans, and look, I mean, you're up against the Saints, right? So it's not much of a hard ask.
The only curiosity question I have: would they have the success they have if they still had Holbrook? Because I still think Holbrook should never have been fired. I think going to Desi actually set them back. But I love what Josh Hannay is doing up there. I think they found that perfect split between Campbell, Kinney, and Brimson.
I think Holbrook should have been fired because it's great to have him at the Roosters for those couple of years and up at nights.
Yes, correct.
He's a perfect fit. You know, as a Knights old boy,
yeah.
He's essentially come back home in a sense, even though his family still live around the corner from yours.
Yeah.
That's until the end of next year when they'll make the
they'll
move
piss off up there?
Yeah, his oldest is in year 11, so they're waiting for the
fair.
high school to finish. Like, that's great. I think Bella, when she was here, said it best, that the Titans will still come at the bottom, but not for lack of trying. And this is a season the Titans, even take away where they are on the board, is a season they can be proud of.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, even some of those games where they've lost the medium loss.
They've been in it.
They're playing 80 minutes of football, and they're only being outclassed by small season teams.
And the way they play, I enjoy watching it.
I do too, yeah.
Flashy, and especially with
Kinney
he's just great.
Made that little chip against the Broncos where he got to the ball before Walsh and just
a few weeks back.
and beat them at Suncorp. Moments like that, mate. Like even I've got to cheer that.
They look like they're having fun. That's the thing. Like with Desi, they look so like depressed, like Desi.
And that's what I mean. I don't think Desi was the right person.
Desi comes in and flicks his hair back.
Best hair in the league.
We've lost 9 games. He's not that. I think that Hannay now, you know, younger coach, bringing that energy to the club, and you know, look, hopefully they do make the 8 next year. It'll be good for them and their 10 fans.
Yeah, even
no, I think they got 11 now.
Yeah, they got 11. They got that one because one of them had a kid. Look, you know, even if they don't make the 8 next year, like if they're probably going to come 16th, 15th, 16th this year.
Well, actually, funnily enough, they're sitting in 14th.
Yeah.
So they're actually ahead of the Broncos at the moment.
Yeah,
it's good, eh?
Yeah, but you know, like going back to like what we've said before, like what success looks like for different clubs. For me, with looking at the Knights, if the Knights came with like 12th this year, I would have been like, that's well done.
Compared to last year.
Titans, if the Titans come 14th, 12th, like, you know, they start edging slowly but surely towards the 8 and consistent. If they keep moving up but not go down, that's a good win. That's a good sign for the club and a good investment in keeping Hannay around.
And sometimes it's not the ladder position you need to look at per se. Yes, it's important, but sometimes it's actually looking at the whole, all right, look at the individual games. And there's been so many games where they would have lost by 30 points because they would have just given up. This year they're not. They've uncovered some gems in Harrison and Pascoe.
Even something like some of the losses they've had this year where they've been like 20 plus, they're 20 points down. It's 2 minutes left on the clock, and they're still playing like they've got a shot to win.
Exactly.
That to me shows a massive change in their culture.
They're in it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that Gordon Tallis mentality.
Yeah. I think sometimes you feel for him like they don't get the rub of the green. Some calls you see sometimes Tino he just grows frustrated.
Oh, I love that. Like, so what about Origin?
Yeah. And look, he raised a fair point, though. Yeah. Like, it was a valid point. It was offside.
And then, to finish things off for round 21, Manly. Old Boys Day, they lost
Fire
48.
Can
Foz.
Manly stop putting on Old Boys Day? Because every
Fire
time they do
Foz.
that, they get thumped.
48
Foz.
Yeah.
to 12 against Manly. And I think it's...
4 in a row losses.
Yeah, well, Manly, they announced that Foreign's a coach, permanent coach, and they start
He's
losing.
regretting that now, isn't he?
Same as the Saints announced Dean Young. And
All I'm saying is, Seabold lost 4 in a row and they fired him.
so what are you saying? We get another coach.
Sorry, Foz. Time to go, bro. Obviously, you got to hold them to the same standard. If Seabold had to go, I think Foz has to go. Obviously, he's
I think
fucking-
losing Luke Brooks hurt.
to be honest, I actually think that's been the catalyst for why they're downfall. But I still want to have fun and say fire Foz because of how much they were all sucking him off when he got
This
signed.
whole Fozball phenomenon, it was a world where Manly fans...
the
It got
Foz
pretty...
fried chicken.
It got out there a bit, like...
Yeah, they changed the one at Manly just down the road from 4 Pines. They changed the Colonel to like a Foz.
And then now look, back to reality. Foz is probably thinking, well, shit.
Not as easy as I thought this was.
How do we get out of this pattern of losses? But, hey, look, credit to Cronulla, mate. They go over the bridge to the Northern Beaches and put 48 on them. Nico Hines had a great game.
He was their best player.
Yeah.
He was slippery. He was breaking... I think he broke the line at least 4 or 5
Can you imagine
times.
how happy Buzz is right now?
Oh, mate, Buzz would be sitting at... Actually, no, Buzz would have been there and he would have been like...
But Buzz will be just like, I want to get back in the media so I can write about this.
Just so I can write out he's going to win
Yeah.
the Daily M. I've said for a while now
And then-
that
and
Hines shouldn't be in the halves. He should be at fullback. And I actually think today proved why he should be at fullback. I'm just... My thought process.
But one of the players I think I'm just really amazed at and love watching play for Cronulla is Mighty Mulatalo. Just
Ronaldo, I think what I saw from him today was, just energy, high spirits. He had a big smile on his face, throwing a few arrows out there. I think he scored, 2-3 tries, and it's refreshing to see, a caliber of
I
player.
generally love him because he's a character, and he's not afraid to get up in front of someone's face. Like with Marky when we played the Chooks.
But that was good because we copped it. We gave it to him.
Oh, yeah, we did give it to him. I still can't wait to hit the emergency stop on the fuel pumps at Ampol Kirrawee when I see him next.
You hold such,
I don't like the guy, but I don't. It's not like I don't. It's not like I don't like him because of the way he acts on the field. Well, actually, kind of is. But the thing that I don't like about him is he had that run for a few years where he bombed something like 10 tries in a season because he showboated and either lost the ball trying to dive over the line or got lazy and got punched out. And I hated that because I'm like, that's just shit.
But I think,
But yeah, he did play well.
I'm really hoping that he picks up. With the new change to the origin selection criteria, I'm really hoping he picks up. He's an Ipswich boy. And
No, didn't he just miss out because of his age? He's just
But
a
they've
bit too old.
changed it now.
No, even with the change, I think
No,
he
New
still
South Wales
misses.
changes it to fit them. So
Yeah,
sort of the
it's
same
kind of
except
like
for-
a bloke named Greg Inglis playing in Kempsey or Thaiday in Northmead, and then
you've never been to Bowerville, postcode 43805. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Cronulla, I think, are they contenders, pretenders?
Will they maintain it though?
Let's see week 1 and 2 of the finals.
It's
Because
always been their biggest test.
That
I
is
think.
it, yeah.
They've got a soft run in as well, which is going to help them.
Every year they have a pretty cruisy drive.
They always do, and that's why I never look at where they finished the ladder.
Yeah.
I look at certain games throughout the year, like they lost the Chooks twice and that. So yeah,
Here's the question though: if they choke again after this run that they've had, do they start asking questions about Fitzy as a coach?
having spoken to a friend of mine who is a Cronulla fan, fans are already asking questions about whether they think he's the guy to win them a comp. They think he's an amazing assistant coach, and he proved that at the Roosters as our defensive coach. They still have questions on him as a head coach.
Because it's a tough ask. Like rugby league's a tough ask. You've got to play 27 rounds, and then it all means shit if you get bounced in the first. It comes down to 2 weeks of football, really.
Yeah.
1 or 2 weeks of footy, and then that's it. Because if you don't make it to the prelim, it's like, well, that's a waste of a season. And then if you're in a certain category of club, if you don't make the GF, then that's what we said. Like
the Roosters.
Yeah, the Roosters, Storm, Panthers, they don't make the grand final. That's a failure of a season. Like that's a huge thing. So
the Roosters, especially on their jerseys, we play for premierships.
That's
It's
it,
pretty
yeah.
noted.
Yeah.
But I think look, I'll cut a bit of slack to Cronulla because they've made the last 2 prelims and go, you know what, 2 prelims, played some good opposition.
But you
get
get to
that point.
You get to that point. That is cutthroat rugby league.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think they're right where they want to be though. they're there. It's just that next step. So what are you going to do?
I
You're going to
think-
sack the coach and bring, Shane Flanagan back?
No. Haven't you heard the latest
Get
rumor?
Gallen.
Flanagan might be going to West to be an assistant coach with Benji.
Oh, good on him.
Seriously?
They got named today because they want some senior assistants around him.
Good on him, mate. I mean, look,
So
you
West
want
is going to get worse, and Flanagan will be playing 7 next year.
I'd say, but yeah, it's like you said, Buzz Elliott, mate. He'll be happy about this.
Nick Esmond in the Daily M.
He'd be kicking himself though, Buzz. He'd be wanting to write an article come finals.
He'd be itching.
He'd be doing
He'd
these
be
ones. He'd
itching.
going, this is why Cronulla should be playing at Shark Park Week 2's finals.
This is why
instead
Shark
of
Park
Allianz.
should be a
God, I
40,000
hope they
seat
don't.
stadium.
I hope not. Do you reckon the rumours are true about the NRL potentially buying it?
The Shark Park itself.
Yeah. I've heard the rumour.
Oh, they did a thing. They were talking about the hotel the other day because they did the walkthrough of the new leagues club. It's about to go in and fit out.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll have to look it up. But yeah, the NRL do, and we'll talk about this in the next dribble. But now the NRL are after assets to build on what they already own.
The RMTV podcast is brought to you by The Legal Problem Solver. The team brings over 25 years of experience in wills, probate, estates, conveyancing, property and commercial law. Connect with The Legal Problem Solver on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram.
Dive into it, eh?
Yeah.
Well, so the broadcast deal. So Nine, it remains with Nine and Foxtel
Yeah.
for what, 10 years? 10 years? Was it 10 years?
No, 5-year deal.
5-year deal.
5 year,
Yeah.
5 bill.
Yeah. So going back right to the beginning of the year, one of my bold predictions for the year was that Channel 9 lost it. Because I was really thinking that the money behind Paramount CBS was going to come through for Channel 10, who did make make a bid. Because again, like Channel 10 doesn't have a marquee sports program or content at all, really.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to come
They're
through
dying
and
in the
get it.
arse that.
Yeah, it is. It is. Channel 10's, there's nothing we watch on Channel 10.
No,
Fucking
not
Channel
as
10
like as a
existed.
kid, you'd have
Yeah.
The Simpsons,
Yeah.
Family Guy,
Yeah.
a lot.
But yeah, and the Channel 10 premiere movie on a Sunday night at 8:30 was used to remember that. Remember,
Yeah. I thought you meant now. I'm like,
no,
they have
like
premium movie.
Channel
Yeah,
10, yeah, back in the day.
yeah, back in the day, they were the
Timmy
OG,
Webster in the Channel 10 years, big Roosters fan. Timmy Webster, he hosts he's the MC of the Chairman's Lounge at Roosters games. Lovely bloke, but yeah, like Channel 10 is just dying us. But I honestly thought Channel 10 was going to come with that American money and go to that American streaming. And to obviously with the push that the game is trying to do in the US, but DAZN, the parent company of of Fox, is picked that up in those overseas broadcasting. So yeah, it's big money for next 5.
Yeah, and it's what they wanted. They wanted more than the AFL,
Yeah,
and they got it.
and I can understand why we get more than the AFL. Like our game is better to watch on TV than it is.
Yes,
It's made for broadcast,
and
as
that's
opposed
why
to
AFL gets so many people in the stadium because their game is better to watch live.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
But then I do believe that league tennis is like everybody in Victoria is an NPC for league tennis, and they just sort of mill around during the week and then show up for their duty. Like so,
Yeah, it's like they don't even care about who's playing. They just rock up
They
to the
play,
MCG.
yeah.
Their seat fillers and everything,
it's just-
like the Oscars.
Yeah. But
No, I was just saying, like, it's at the end of the day, rugby league on TV, you just watch it with a few mates. It's the best product.
it is.
You know, we'll all argue about, the refs and the 6 agains, but at the end of the day,
We love it.
You want to watch rugby league on telly or Fremantle versus Essendon?
Could you imagine how boring life would be if the refs did everything right? Like, what are we going to talk about? Like,
One thing I will say to the refs,
people have to actually blame their own team's performance for a loss. Like,
I'm just going to say this about the
Queensland would have to blame themselves for losing game 3, but
that
that's
won't
another
happen.
hole we can go down.
refs. But have you noticed the 6 agains have gone down in the back half of the year? Ever since there was that massive thing about the too many, and look at the games we're getting. We're getting some fucking quality games out of it.
Yeah.
so with the broadcasting, like, it's going to be a massive windfall for the clubs. We're going to see an increase in the salary cap for the men's to 20 mil. We're going to see the women's go up to 2 mil. So, and the NRL are looking at investing in assets. It's overseas multiple injection, getting the game up in Europe and that sort of stuff. So a question I want to ask you guys is, with that windfall, do you want to see more money on spreading the game abroad or development of grassroots here in Australia to build up the talent pool with the notion in mind of like we're coming into a competition in the next 3 or 5 years with a 20-team comp?
Mate, great question. I reckon grassroots. You go around, like, especially, Western Sydney is a stronghold for rugby league, and a lot of kids, man, they're playing soccer.
Yep.
The parents don't
Your
want them
brother.
playing. Yeah, that's Emerson, the intern. Because their parents, I don't want to get hit, and now they're changing with league, like the league tag. I know a few people at work, and their sons are playing in the Parramatta comp. next year they're ending the Sunday comp because there's not enough interest, so they're putting it all together. And when my brother used to play, when he got to like the age of 19, you're versing people in Monavale because the Northern Beaches comp's not that strong anymore. You know, like now you've got the comps, the Eastern Suburbs comp. I think they're merged with Balmain because it's just so small. I think you got to look back at grassroots, the country, because if you're not going to look after the grassroots, what's the point of going overseas when the comp could die in 50 years?
Because we've seen it, and is that the competition, the Super League, as great as it is, it's not as entertaining as rugby league.
No.
This is the premier rugby league. The NRL is the premier rugby league product.
Rugby league.
So, yeah, like 100%. Like, why spend that money overseas when we need to cultivate here?
Do you agree?
Yeah. I do agree. I think there needs to be a major input and push up for grassroots. I do understand why we're going overseas, though.
So you want to see like a Dubai round or something?
No. I'm talking international. I want more NRL exposure in the Super League. And the reason I want that is I think there are guys in the Super League that could come over to the NRL and play well. Look at Canberra. Canberra probably do it the best.
English players want to come to Australia to play.
But that's the thing, right? If we can get that exposure over there and bring them over. But we've got Perth coming in next year. We've got PNG the year after. The discussions around the new broadcast deal is another team in 5 years, potentially, which makes it, a 20-team comp. Where are we getting the talent from? There's rumours that it's going to be in New Zealand. Mate, the Warriors are struggling to hold on to players as is. They've only just started getting a stranglehold back. Yeah. So we need to develop here so that we have the talent pool. The biggest issue that Perth are having is who do they sign? Well, we need the talent here to be able to keep the product at a premium. And then we can worry about overseas expansion.
There's two factors I want to chuck into this conversation. We've just come off the Soccer World Cup. And soccer is an international game.
Yes.
Yes, the biggest.
And it's shown. So that at the moment, every clown is wearing a fucking soccer jersey.
Yep.
People are following. People are following teams that they've got no connection to. Yeah. Like you saw the turnout in Sydney on the news about like Argentina and Spanish supporters. Like people are just going for them because it's the brand, because it's the power of that brand.
Messi.
Yeah. So
it comes back to the player profile brand as well.
You have a look, like the intern play soccer. Soccer is one of the most played sports in Australia at a community level.
Yeah.
We need to be able to pinch them into league and go, look, kid, you can kick a ball, but you're not going to be the next Lionel Messi, mate. You can be the next Sam Walker. How about you pick up a rugby league ball and play a proper sport? This is where, that money's got to be invested. And that's building academies like the Roosters have done, and a lot of the other teams are doing it. Building centre of excellences, cultivating that grassroots, convincing parents, because that's the audience. It's not the kid. The kid, you give a kid a footy ball, I want to play. It's mum and dad who's got to pay the registration.
And they're also worried about injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries, that's another big one. But that's another thing. Like a lot of kids playing soccer, but, what are they watching on telly? They're watching their Tigers, their Eels.
Yeah.
Right? They're not, because who's watching the A-League?
No one watches the A-League.
Right?
That's the problem with the A-League.
I do think, though, you got to tap into the schools as well.
Yeah.
When I went to school,
kids to kangaroos,
you'd have the Oz Kicks. You have the AFL, right? So the AFL, they've done a great part there of trying to implement that across Sydney. And I think, we'd have Parramatta come in once in a while, but you need that program to pick up the footy, the Steeden, right? Not the Sharon, not the Gilbert. You want the Steeden,
Steeden winning the game.
Yeah, and look, I think once you can do that, then you're on the right path.
See, that's interesting, though, because I remember going through school, and we were lucky to have a PE teacher who was also involved with Melbourne's under-20 team. So we kind of had, a sport. But we had the kids to kangaroo stuff, and it was very actively, done. A lot of the kids were already playing rugby league, but there was a lot of kids who didn't know about it who were then they knew rugby league was a thing, but they weren't playing, and they're like, let's do this. So Is it back on, say, New South Wales Rugby League to then be getting them out there? Or if we invest the right money into the grassroots, each individual competition can be running stuff like this. So MacArthur can do it, fucking whatever the comp is out here can do it.
Well,
the Northern Beaches
what you boys were saying about the merging of the competitions and the grades. The same things happening up in the Hunter. Same things happening on the coast. There's teams that, I remember when I played for the Yamina Bunnies, there were 3 or 4 in every underage.
Yeah.
There was 3 or 4 teams, and it was a fight to get into the, because you wanted to be the next so-and-so. When I was playing my juniors, up on the Central Coast, it was the 90s, you had the Manly, you had the Bears, and you had the Knights fighting for junior engagement going to schools. Like guaranteed in one, like I remember when I was in primary school, in 1 year we had those 3 clubs come out twice. Like, you know, and it wasn't just like reps. It was like I remember Jason Taylor, Brett Dallas, and Mickey Butner came to my school. It was a fucking amazing day. You know, like they laid it on, and they did every single school within the thing. And if they couldn't do the one school, they merged it so you had 2 schools meeting. Like it was so meticulous the way that they did this, and they've stopped doing it now. Yeah. So we have to find out. So the second part I want to ask you boys is with the second expansion, the third expansion, I should say, where it's the argument between the WARs and another team in New Zealand and the Western Corridor, Brisbane. Where should that go?
You go first, mate.
I'm going to say Brisbane, and quite simply, and we've had this discussion. The work that the Warriors are doing now and doing that little road show, it's garnering interest, right? It's getting that thing. The Wars are playing well, so everyone's loving them. Let's say theoretically, and obviously I hope it doesn't happen because I think the Wars are great for football. In 3 years' time, if the Wars fall off the bandwagon, they're back to being a bottom 8 team. Will the engagement still be the same? And that's why I'm worried. If we put a second team in there and go,
one of the big analytical things for the success for the Wars at the moment that's pushing a second team has been their continued success in taking a game to the South Island.
Yeah.
So Christchurch has been sold out. And I was over there at the end of May, beginning of June for a couple of things with them in the South Island and setting up those stuff. And the attention's there. And like I said off radio, whenever there's a good rugby league game on the Central Coast, it's a sellout.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a good game over in Perth, it's a sellout. But you establish a team in Perth, it's going to struggle. And we're seeing that. You put a team on the Central Coast, even though that the coast is mad about their rugby league.
It's going to struggle.
It's going to struggle. Because
they've already got the team that they follow.
That's right. They've already got the team that they follow. And they're happy to go to a game that's... And I want to go back to saying that Roosters-Titans game is an exception because that was just a shit time slot.
Yeah, a 6 p.m. time shot is...
Yeah, when you've got a team coming up from Sydney, 6 p.m. on a... Friday night does not work.
We're normally like the Saturday afternoon game, which is a perfect time.
Even if I think if it's like the 8 o'clock game, it would have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, those communities love football, but will they have the appetite to continuously back a team that's, say, in the position that the Tigers are at the moment, Dragons, and what the Titans have been for the last few years? And the other disruptor for a team in the South Island is that the World Cup hasn't happened yet. And I'm not talking about the Rugby League World Cup. I'm talking about the Union. That is next year. The All Blacks... is the South Island. The All Blacks own the South Island. That's their heartland, and the Wars have done a fantastic job in cutting into that. But how does that go, matched with what you said, with sort of a downturn in performance from the Wars, matched with if the All Blacks take the Webellas?
Yep.
Like, how does that go? Because that's 2028. They're looking at 2029 for this team.
Yeah, if the All Blacks win the World Cup, Rugby League... You just got to keep doing what you're doing with the Wars and go in there and play 1 or 2 big games.
Well, I agree. I'd say Brisbane as well. You know, Rugby League, mate, they live and breathe it up there. I think with New Zealand, just hold that Wars brand because they're up against, like the All Blacks, right? So I think that's their rivalry.
It's been a huge win for the Wars to steal that.
Oh, yeah.
And, credit. And a great example for that was not this week, but last week, you had Ireland and All Blacks play at Eden Park whilst the Wars played at Mount Smart, and both stadiums were sold out.
Yeah. And
so
that's
not,
the perfect
That's
time.
not bleeding an audience from the traditional union to the traditional union base in New Zealand. That is the Wars holding their own, which is fantastic.
Yeah, but that's what the Wars need to be at. Like, we need to let them build. We need to let them keep building on their successes before we can saturate that market.
Look, give them 10 years. Give them the Wars 10 years to own New Zealand and then really build up a following for rugby league in the South Island and then approach it.
Let's see if they can win a comp. Well,
I think so. Yeah,
My other thing is coming out of COVID, I think has helped their numbers because people forgot how much they missed having rugby league in their backyard, and not in a bad way, but I think that's boosted their numbers because a lot more people are going after COVID. I want to get out there. I want to see it because if something like that happens again and people piss off and we can't play games in New Zealand anymore, what's it going to be like?
I think, and so with the second team in Brisbane, do you think the Western Corridor or there is talk about going north, another Brisbane-based team, or going up to FNQ again?
Look, so I've got a lot of connections at Cairns Baseball League. Pretty much everyone in Cairns is a Cowboys fan. And I don't think you can go into Far North Queensland. I think the Cowboys have the stranglehold there. I think it's going to be way too tough to try and get another team
you're
in
chucking
there.
P&G as well.
Yeah, and now P&G as well. So those guys in Mackay and Rocky and all that maybe aren't Aussies, they've got that P&G. They're going to be supporting them. I think you've got to look at Brisbane to an extent. But yeah, you've got to get out to that corridor where
Well, even
there's
even the existing P&G supporters, like just in their base, like there's quite a few international students up at Newcastle Uni, and they are kitted out every time in Broncos or Cowboys gear. Because P&G was administrated by Queensland up until the 70s.
Yeah.
It was a satellite state for Queensland. They back Queensland in Origin. Their 3 teams they follow is the Broncos, the Storm, because that's Brisbane 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Cowboys.
What about a team in Darwin? Or do you think AFL's a bit bigger there?
I think when they play that 1 or 2 games in Darwin a year, they get a good crowd, but I think it'd be the same as Perth.
Yeah.
Playing it consistently wouldn't be the same.
Well, what about Adelaide? Because the Adelaide Rams used to pull all right in the Super League years.
Yeah.
I think that could be an option, but I
know they want to make it a national rugby league. There is an agenda within the NRL.
Well, if that's the case, Perth's coming in. You've got PNG, New Zealand. Put in Adelaide.
How about like another team in called Melbourne Thunder, just to split the definitive of the Melbourne Storm?
You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it.
Instead of like having Thunderstruck as like just be the parody.
Thunder
like
and Storm.
Yeah, just be the anti-hero against the Storm.
But no, it's food for thought. It's
like from a thought process, like Adelaide would be a great shout to make a national competition, but there's a reason why the Rams didn't work out.
Well, there's a reason why Perth didn't work out. So
and I'm not seeing anything yet, and that is going to make it a difference now that Perth's over there still again. I just don't see it.
I'll tell you what, mate. If they won't go down without a fight, James Bracey, he might even chuck a jersey on and play for them.
Yeah, I think so. He's very passionate about it. He's number 1 ticket holder for the North Sydney Bears. He's a long time. So I know we want to speed things, but I just want to split one more into this expansion thing. If we don't add a new team, do we bring back an old team? And do we split St. Merge?
You thinking doing St. George out of Cogra full time and the Steelers?
Yeah.
Fucking love it, because I can tell you now there's a whole bunch of people that live in Wollongong who absolutely detest St. George, but they love Illawarra. They will go to...
That's the same with Fitzy, because
Steelers boy.
Fitzy wanted him... the Dragons wanted him to coach him. They were trying to line up, and just obviously through his own allegiances, his own history, he was like, no, I just can't do it.
I'd do it.
I'd love to see the Steelers back in.
To be honest, with the way things are going, I'd love to see West split and go back to Balmain. I know they can't, but go back to Balmain and West.
I think you just
I think if the
pick
game...
up the Tigers and chuck them in Adelaide. The Adelaide Tigers, maybe that could be a shout. The way they keep going, maybe they need a relocation.
Maybe that's what Volandis has to do, is get on. Anyone that fucks around like this in the media, you're getting deported to Adelaide. Just because
we'll let you play 2 games a year at Leichhardt.
There's 2 major conferences every week within the rugby league. One's with the CEOs and Volandis and the commission. The other one's the commercial guys. And I think, that's a great opportunity for Volandis to just go, hey, fuck around and find out. Someone is getting deported to Adelaide.
Next minute's South Sydney is the Adelaide Rabbitohs.
No, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
And it's interchangeable every year. So you've been punted for a year,
you got to play at the Adelaide Oval for a full year.
Honestly, I'd love if the game got sustainable enough, because that's the key word, sustainability. If the game got sustainable enough, let's bring back the West Magpies and the Illawarra Steelers.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There is a bit of something there, because having that Bears back, it just feels right.
You could play at Win every week as well.
Absolutely.
You play at Win Stadium every week.
And have a look at who's coming out of that talent. You have a look. Where's
Well, you look at most of the guys.
Starts with G. Gerringong.
Yeah, Gerringong.
Bloody rugby league factory out there.
They've got a big base all the way down to the border, South Coast.
But you look at those young guys that are coming through for the Dragons right now, like these Hamish Stewarts, Dylan Egan's and all that. They're all Illawarra boys.
Yeah.
So, and I know for a fact the Illawarra competition at the moment, their first grade has combined with Cronulla's first grade to play like an interleague because they need extra.
Who's coming out of St. George? Let's be fair, Dinkum.
Mate, fucking Kyle Flanagan.
Depression?
Depression. I think Kyle Flanagan came out when he was playing there, but
maybe you just get rid of St. George and just bring back the Steelers,
Bring back Illawarra. I support that, actually.
Well, all right, guys. Well, before we get into round 22, there's a few rounds left. Who's winning the comp? Who's winning the comp, boys? Because I feel like it's so open right now, which is it's good for the game.
I don't think there's a clear contender.
Yeah, even last year, at this point, I was like, I think dipshits are going to fucking win it again. But
yeah, look, I think obviously we all want our Chookies to do well, but
Our
do they
attack's
turn
not
it up? The defense is there. It's the attack.
It's got to click eventually, right?
I think look. I'm just saying
maybe
this.
like it is clicking, but they're just being reserved about it because they know they can.
Maybe
Because
you
we're
reckon
not.
You
Yeah.
reckon they're just in second gear right now? They're
I
just
think-
like we're just getting wins, and then we're gonna go to Combank in a few weeks. We're gonna put 50 on Penrith. Wouldn't that be lovely?
If we put 50 on Penrith, I will kiss you on air.
No, I mean like it's not your first time, isn't it?
Kissing you? Nah.
But no, it's look.
Please
it's
don't put
getting
50 on
through
Penrith.
Penrith.
Put 49 just to say.
Yeah.
Who else? Penrith's a hard one. Cowboys.
Penrith was,
Dogs.
Roosters, Cronulla are in form at
And
the moment.
this is the thing that I hate about being Roosters is that every idiot team wants to step up against us. You know, no one's just like, fuck, we'll just.
Chooks will be fine.
Oh, we want to get one on the chook, so we'll actually pull our thumb out of our ass.
It does annoy me. And then
There's
you
two
watch,
teams that I can see doing that. One's fucking Tigers.
yeah.
Don't. I'm not losing twice on my birthday in 2 years. I'm fucking not doing that 2 years in a row.
Because you'll see like a Para up against Penrith. They get up for the Battle of the West, and you're like, oh, shit, they've almost beat Penrith. And it's like, why can't we just beat Penrith?
We did last year, so
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Look, and then we got one up against Melbourne. So look, things are looking positive. I think Penrith, look, if they click, they'll be hard to beat.
But they're sluggish.
They're sluggish.
I think it's because of the start.
Everybody's been sluggish though. Like in the same vein that we're talking about the Chooks Lake sort of just been in that second gear. There's nobody that's, and like the Sharks, you know, they've pulled some big wins on lately, but there haven't been.
But their start was horrible. Like they
and
were so
those
sluggish.
wins haven't been against quality sides.
Well, look at Bronx last year. They were pretty sluggish up and down, and then they just took a run. So a team's going to take a run for it. Hopefully, it's the Chookies. But
Yeah, if you find form at the right time, you'll be right.
maybe the Wires. I actually feel like the Wires might dip a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're a bit of it. Oh,
Look,
like everybody else, they're buggered. They're injured.
if the Wars have to travel to Australia week 1 of the finals, I write them off. Yeah. If they were playing in New Zealand, I'd give them a
Unless
shot.
they play at Suncorp, which is like
Oh yeah,
second
that's
home.
New
That's their
Zealand
second
2.0. Yeah.
or Bondi. They've got a lot of and Melbourne. They've got a lot of satellites.
No, because the last time they played at Allianz, the last couple of times they've lost. So I'm hoping that would continue. I can hope.
All right, round 22. We're in the back end of the season now. So Cowboys $2.57 at home. The Chookies $1.51. Look, few out for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Are you going up?
I was going to, but decided I'd save my money in case we need to travel for finals.
Smart choice. I did think about it as well,
If
but
it was earlier in the year, I'd do it.
a Friday
Do
night,
you
Saturday
reckon
night.
like a Tigers or Parramatta fan has like a actual? We'll ask Troy. Like, do they have like an account that they put savings away for finals and just never use? So it's like, just they can buy a house now. Like they can put a deposit on a 6-bedroom house in Bronte or something because they've just been banking it every year.
Or maybe they're just that realistic. They just don't bother
just
saving
don't
it. They
bother.
spend it on other things instead.
I think, it could be that option. And then if they do make it, they'll get a loan. Like, they'll nimble it for the finals, right?
Yeah, get the old wallet wizard pay loans.
Look, dude, who are we backing?
I'm going Chooks. I think
Yeah.
if they'll want payback for Magic Round, and this is the week it needs to start really clicking
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and get a proper win.
I back the Chooks.
Yeah, Chookies, another Teddy masterclass. And I think Cowboys will just be a bit exhausted after that win against the Bronx. They were really up for that one. So, Chooks
And I
will
think we'll see if the rumours are true about Sammy and his contract going to 1.35 over 10.
Yeah.
You might see a little bit of settled. Even though I think he's just tired after Origin.
You'll see that I'm proving I'm worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Saints, $3.20, Dolphins $1.35. Fins up for me.
Yeah, I'll go to Finns.
I wanted to be a smart ass and say Saints, but I just can't do it. I'm not that dumb.
Yeah.
Fins should walk over that one.
Now, look, punters can't split this one. Storm $1.92, Bulldogs $1.92 at Amy Park.
I'm going Storm for the home.
Storm.
I'm going Dogs, and I'm going the Dogs because Harry Grant's not playing.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same. I think Melbourne, I've never seen a club like this. I feel like, a few years back when you versed Melbourne, anywhere, whether it's home or away, you're like...
Oh, it was a graveyard. Amy Park was a graveyard.
Yeah,
Same as Manly. It used to be a graveyard.
Fortune's
It's just
Brookvale.
not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, I think Dogs for me. I reckon they're going on a bit of a run. I'll take some confidence out of being the Wires.
Maybe a bit too much.
No,
Maybe a
what
bit too much confidence.
What they'll do is they'll beat the Storm, get way too much confidence up, and they get flogged by the Chooks.
Yeah.
That's my
Wouldn't
goal.
that be nice?
That's my belief.
Yeah.
Then the Titans, $2.38. The Wires, $1.59. At Seabus.
So it's also that's a dual home game there.
Yeah, with the with the
there's a lot of
contingent,
them in Logan. I went to this game about 10, 15 years ago. Dead set, it was a Warriors home game.
Well, because of that game, they no longer allow opposition fans to bring drums or anything in because of Warriors fans.
Yes,
That
right.
Seabus doesn't allow it because of the Wires turning it into a home game.
Good on him. Like that's domination. That is an alpha move. You know, that's like
That's big dog energy. Yeah, big dick energy.
So do the Wires fans, do they get them up for this one?
I'm going the Wires.
For two reasons. One, they need to win.
Yeah.
They really need to get some points back on the board. And two, I think they'll just all credit to the Titans. I just think the Wires might just have a bit too much.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a quality game though.
Quality game. I think Titans had a big win today.
Now that I've said that, I feel like a sneaky surprise coming from the Titans.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the Titans by 1.
Or you with your field goal gone, boy.
Yeah,
You know what?
Moses field goal.
I was tempted to
Moses
say
field goal.
Roosters field goal on the weekend. I was like, nah, I won't do it because I'm not going to be called Presto. And then fucking field goal happens, doesn't it?
No, I think Warriors, they might get another loss. And yeah, I think
That'd
Titans.
slip them out of the 4 pretty much.
Yeah, it would be.
That'd be
They're
that
going
would
to go a
be
bit of a
tight,
downward
yeah.
trend. And then Penrith, $1.32. Canberra, $3.42 at Mudgee.
Yeah, look at the Milk and Mudgee last year.
Oh.
Yeah, like that was. Remember that kid that showed up in front of the Panthers and took his jacket off and it was just Raiders?
Yeah,
That-
at the school.
That was just baller. That kid is gangster.
And you see the players were just like, what? Oh, shit. All right.
That was a funny one. And then it probably rattled him. And then they
That
won.
is-
Yeah,
That
that's
was-
what threw him. Where's that kid? Get him back there.
Cleary hit the post. And then
Stewart picked it up.
KO Week scored, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
KO Week scored, but Jed Stewart.
Jed took the rebound.
Sorry, no, Strange took the rebound,
Yeah.
went to Stewart.
Yeah.
Stewart went back into Weeks
Yeah.
and Weeks scored. You know what?
I think that
I'm
was,
going Canberra.
I'm pretty sure that was when Vossi weed himself in the commentary box.
He may have also ejaculated.
Yeah, I think any rugby league fan who hates the Panthers did that. in
So
that game.
basically, pretty much everyone except for
Everybody.
Panthers fans.
Yeah.
Oh, it was euphoric when they won.
I'm going to go the Raiders. I actually think, based on what they done last week to the Tigers, I think they're going to take a lot of confidence out of it. And with Weeks in the form he's in, I think he's going to tear them up.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm doing the same. I'm going Raiders.
Yeah, fuck Penrith. Let's go
I-
Raiders. And
yeah.
also, if Penrith lose and the Roosters win, they're tied on points. So it's close to that Roosters minor premiership.
I would not have picked that possibility. I'll tell you what. At the beginning of the year, I did not think we would be in contention for the MP.
Nope.
Here we are. Look, controversial call. Penrith by 2.
By 2.
Yeah, they'll just
It'll be a
I think
penalty.
they'll
It'll be
just
because of a penalty.
Yeah, and it'll be a
go.
bullshit penalty like the hairbrush by Nat
Yeah.
Butcher.
And then Broncos, $1.53. Newcastle, $2.50. Suncorp.
Oh, that's a tough one. Honestly, I don't think that represents where that game is at.
I'm going Newy.
Yeah, I'm going Newy as well.
I'm going Newy.
They've got more fight in them. I think Payne Hussey's already thinking about where he's moving.
Have you guys seen Super Troopers? That movie, Super Troopers.
Yes.
Do you now you will,
Super Troopers,
so
yeah.
after State of Origin, right? Haas played a great role in New South Wales winning, and he walks back into the Broncos change room the next week. Now, the scene that I'm thinking of out of Super Troopers is when they find out that father was the rat, and then he walks back in, and they're all in the locker room. You know what I'm talking about? It's you've got to look it up. If you haven't seen Super Troopers at home, it is a cult, legendary film from 2001 or something.
They're
But
making a third one, by the way.
yeah, so it's this scene where this guy's dogged them,
Yeah.
and he's gone back to pick up his stuff. And while they said, "We're going to smash him, we're going to smash
Then
him."
a Haas.
Yeah,
Payne Haas.
and then he's gone back into the change room, and that's how I saw Payne Haas going back into the change room after
Reece
Origin.
Walsh.
Felt like
Yeah.
with a bit of a smirk on his
Yeah.
face. Yeah.
But no, I think they're really only playing for pride now.
That's what scares me.
Yeah.
They can be a dangerous team playing for
But-
pride.
Knights are also going to they've got some young talent. They're going to throw the ball around. They're going to try things.
Bradman
I
Best
think-
does love Suncorp. We know that.
Yeah, he does. He only plays 8 minutes. He always comes on at the 72nd minute of the game,
But it works.
but it works. Well, I have to say, just quickly, after State of Origin up in Newcastle, it wasn't New South Wales won State of Origin. It was Bradman Best won State of Origin.
Yeah, that's right.
His face was everywhere. And in Brian Tui, who's one of the journos for the Herald, famously said, and the only person that came close to capturing Newcastle's own Bradman Best was another Nova Castrian, Caitlin Ponga.
Yeah.
There was nobody else. There was no other.
It was all Newy.
It was
Had
just
Newy
Newcastle.
all over it.
Yeah.
How good. And then Yeah, so you going Bronx or
Yeah,
Knights?
I'm going Knights.
Knights?
I'm going Knights.
Or Newy. All right, and then Sharks, $1.38. Souths, $2.05. Yeah, look, Cronulla. They're looking hot.
Yeah. I just can't see them putting anything up on them.
No.
Yeah, but Shark Park last year, and it's going to be a day. Actually, no, yeah, it's going to be a day game. So yeah, I'm going to go Cronulla. If it was a night game, I think South.
No, I
would
said
pip
the
'em.
day games like evening game would be worse because those portaloos have cooked all throughout the day.
Yeah.
So the odour's going to be wafting in, and if you're not used to it, you're going to just like suffer.
This is the problem, right? So Cronulla have like 6 day games in a row now to finish out the year, but like day games suit them. Night games they struggle because of like the style that they play, and we saw the style
Well,
they
they
played.
might be a bit rattled if all these days going into the finals. That
And next thing you know, they're under lights, and they're like, "Shit, we don't like being popular." Wait, what?
Yeah, what's this and what's all these people? Why are there so many people here?
So if they bow out of the finals, they're blaming the day games.
I reckon so. Yeah. I'm gonna hesitantly back Cronulla.
Okay.
I think South will give them a run. To be honest,
Yeah, I just can't see Souths. They're at all sorts. Like they're just so, they're playing. They say league's a game of 2 hours. For the Souths, it's like 4 quarters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? So
It showed in that game against Melbourne. It went,
yeah,
they're up, Storm's up, back and
yeah.
forth, back and
Like,
forth.
so I think where they both are, it all comes down to Walker's got his head on. Ooh, maybe Mulatalo sets Walker off. That could be the thing.
Ooh.
That would be nice.
If I'm Fitzy, I'm telling Mulatalo to jam in and just
And he
crush
will.
Walker.
Yeah.
He will. Look what he did against Marky Mark. Obviously, Mark got
Yeah,
the
he
last
lost
laugh, but no, I'm keen to see that now.
Yeah, so like, I'm going Sharks based off their performance this weekend of Manly, and just Souths are just I think they're seat fillers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'd be looking at a Cronulla 13 plus, maybe Nico for 1, Mulatalo for 1, and Cody Walker, Simbin.
Yeah,
That's paying about $1.02 on Sportsbet.
And then to finish things off, the Tigers $2.64, which seems pretty short.
I was going to say, that's very short.
Eels $1.49. Another battle of the West here.
Parramatta,
If
13 plus.
Parramatta can't win this, just fuck off.
It'll be interesting to see what news comes out about Dewey. I think that's going to lead into a lot of how this week's going to go.
So we're
If it's bad-
we're recording on Sunday, and it's dropping on
Hopefully
the meeting's
Monday.
tomorrow morning, and this app's obviously on Tuesday. So we'll see what bated breath what happens there.
But if it's going to be a thing where like Dewey's released and all this sort of thing, like they're talking today, Parramatta 40 plus.
Yeah, I think a big win. It's
gonna
going to
be
be.
fun.
Oh, they've got it. They've got it. Parramatta's got to stop fucking around.
I think they'll finish the year off strong, Para.
Yeah.
And then look, it was just Luai will be up against his next
Yeah.
club that he's going to be at. So
He
it's going to be a
he
bit
might be
into it.
MVP for the Eagles this weekend
Yeah.
in a Tigers jersey.
All right, guys. Well, look, it's good to be back. Good to be back on deck. Swapping the mics. I'm surprised that Mike made it back home. There was.
Oh, so we don't worry. Me and Benny had bets. It wasn't.
Yeah, no, there was lots of different features going on.
Yeah, but hey, look, it's good to be back. And look, before you know, it'll be finals.
It's how quick is this year gone?
And,
This is
and World
fine.
Cup at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Very funny you say that. Before I wrap up things up, Channel 7 they dropped this promo for the World Cup. You've got the Samoan fans, the New Zealand rugby league fans. They've actually used Australian Socceroo fans at like Melbourne Fed Square in Darling Harbour, blah, 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 for a rugby league promotion.
Yeah.
So, no.
Channel 7.
Yeah.
Nice.
Week.
So it'll be, Rugby League World Cup, that'll be good as well. And then I think even, we were talking before we kicked off the app is, look, I'm not the biggest union guy, but I'll be tuning in for the Rugby World Cup next year.
Look,
I'll be watching
You have
some
a few
key
leagues
games.
over as well.
I'll be going to a few games. And I'm
We'll have to,
trying to weasel my way into some contracts so I can get some access.
Fair.
But look, it's going to be huge. Web Embassy Cup is one of the most prestigious competitions you can play. Australia's really got, they're changing the guard with the coaches at the moment. But the team to beat, there's 3 teams to beat. It's the Blacks, it's my Bocky, and, the wild cards out of French. So it's going to be an interesting 12 months and how that impacts rugby league in terms of the poaching. Australia, the Wallabies are trying to buy.
Well,
this
theoretically,
competition.
we're going to start seeing that already. Markey,
Fingers
Gussie,
crossed.
Lomax is
So
over there.
the Australian Roosters, because that's what I'm going to call them, because it's pretty much the left edge of the Sydney Roosters playing for them.
No, it'd be good to miss Sawali and Marky Mark. I'll be tuning in.
Gus will be in there.
I'd be curious to see Suwali and Marky Mark playing next to each other. Just to see, because there's a lot of talk around Marky is a lot better than Suwali.
I think in a league context, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think Marky Mark is a bit older, a couple
Yeah,
years older, and a couple bit more mature.
And he's played those big Wallaby games already.
Exactly.
So he's got
been
that
in the Olympics.
Yeah, look, nothing about Sawali like against him. Fucking quick story. Like when we were doing the team photos a few years ago, after it was all done, the boys were heading home, and I'm sitting there in the EQ with Wayne, and Sawali's walking up, and he's really sharply dressed. Like looked absolutely schmick. I'm like, fuck, I wonder what he does. It was his King's school uniform. I was like, fuck, he's still in high school, isn't he? This is,
I think a lot of people forget that. He debuted as a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
He's a lot younger,
Yeah, so look, he's more battle-hardened. I think he'll be fresher for the Wallabies from his time in.
And then hopefully comes back as well.
Yeah, look, we're going to have a bit of extra money after 2028 to bring back some of these players. And
Talks Marky Mark's already basically been signed for 2028.
Yeah.
So.
that'd be lovely. It'd be good
think-
to see, as much as we loved Joey Manu, bring back Marky Mark.
I think Uncle Nick's put an ankle monitor on Marky when he goes, so he knows where he is to get him back.
That and his agent.
Yeah,
if he gets anywhere near like
Daily updates.
anywhere near.
I tell you what, though, watching Rugby Australia, watching his highlight reel from league, is like that Stan Marsh accessing the internet and just being covered in ectoplasm. Like they're just loving it. Like so we'll see. It'll be obviously I was around for the 2000 World Cup. When it was
Barely
here.
remember that.
It was
It wasn't even here.
it was big. There was lots of RM puffer jackets and RM chinos and RM boots everywhere. So get it out, support your Wallabies.
Support your local RM Williams by supporting the Wallabies.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of the RMTV podcast. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. But before we go, we will be soon dropping RMTV polo shirts. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye on the socials. There'll be a few things soon, and then it won't be just us wearing them. You can
Be like one of us.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Poor people.
All right. From Jordy, Benny, and I. It's good night.